Hello friends, how you doing today? It's your friend Phil here, project management trainer and coach. I'm going to speak to you really quickly today about charting to understand the guide. People chart and understand things in different ways. My question to you is, which way suits you? Is there any way you can mind map or chart out ideas so that you better understand the guide? For me, I would advise taking a process at a time. So let's start from the top. Let's start from Develop Project Charter. What is Develop Project Charter to you? When you think about this process, always ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? Doing, getting, using. Whenever you think like that, you're going to be able to better chart out what you're getting from each process. For example, from here, I'm getting authorization, right? In Develop Project Charter, the main thing you're trying to get is authorization in the form of the charter. That's the main thing. But I'd like you to go a step further to ask, how are you doing that? How do you get the charter? The how is your tools and techniques. And if you can think about how you do it, then you're further ahead than when you started studying the process. If you know the tools and techniques organically, I mean, why you're doing what you're doing, how you're doing what you're doing, why you're using the skills you're using, it helps you understand how you got from zero to the charter. In addition to the how, you want to ask yourself, what am I using to do what I'm doing? Part of your what is going to be all of those inputs to the process. I mean, this is basic, this is simple, it's not rocket science, but it's something that will help you better understand the big picture of things. So, what exactly is going in to Develop Project Charter? That should be a question you ask yourself. Your business documents. What are in your business documents? You've got your benefits management plan, but specifically here we're talking about the business case. Your business case makes a case for the project. Ultimately, some of that information gets processed, gets spoken about in the meetings that you have, the interpersonal skills you have to resolve conflict and get people on the same page regarding the project. All of that stuff eventually boils into this charter that you've got. So the question is, what am I doing? What am I getting? And what am I using? DUG. I teach this in my Understanding the Guide. Doing, getting, using. If you can answer what you are doing, what you are getting, and what you're using, you'll be in much better shape. See? Think about that. For every process that exists in the PMBOK guide, if you think about it in this fashion, doing, getting, using, doing, getting, using, what am I doing, what am I getting, what am I using? You'll be much further ahead. I also teach going the next step in this mindset. In addition to doing, getting, using, you also need to ask yourself, where is it going? Where is this project charter going? Which other process is it going to? See? Now your project charter goes to a bunch of places, but let's talk about a few of those places. Your project charter goes to plan, scope management. It goes to plan, schedule management. It goes to develop project management plan, doesn't it? See? That is the next level of awareness as you study the PMBOK guide. What am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? And where is it going? What I got, where's it going? Where's the project charter going? Now, the next step will be to ask the question, why? Why is it going there? So I call it my get good system. It's a play on words. Get good. What am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? Where is it going? And why is it going there? If you can ask yourself these questions, what am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? Where is it going? Why? What am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? Where is it going? Why? If you know why your project charter is going to where you are sending it to, I'm sending it to develop project management plan. But why? Why am I sending it there? I'm sending it to plan scope management. But why am I sending it there? If you can look at every single process like this, you'll be in a much better state than just reading the PMBOK guide without focusing on what you are meant to be getting from it. Remember, this stuff is not namby-pamby fairy tale stuff. This stuff works and helps. This is not just some fictitious process made up. Remember, project managers sat down and put their thoughts together and said, developing the charter should be a process. What do we get from developing the charter? We get a project charter. In addition to that, don't forget, you also have your assumptions log. So you're going to get your assumptions log. For example, as another what am I getting? So you're getting an assumptions log. But where is that assumptions log really going? Do you know any of the places it goes? As you are defining scope, you're going to see your assumptions log become a sub-input. It's a sub-input to that process. You find it under project documents. Why is my assumptions log going to define scope? Because in defined scope, this is where we put together the entire scope that needs to be undertaken to fulfill those requirements. And as part of defining what needs to be done, we need to ensure that our assumptions and constraints have been considered and baked in to that scope of work. So it's where you are checking your assumptions log. And guess what? If there are updates to those assumptions as an output of this process defined scope, you're going to get updates to the assumptions log in project documents updates. You're going to see your assumptions log needs to be updated. So that's the level of awareness, folks. What am I doing? What am I getting? What am I using? Where's it going and why? So whenever you take a look at any of the 49 processes in the 6th edition, or if you're studying for another exam based on another edition, ask yourself, am I getting good? Am I getting good? Doing, getting, using, why, and where. Okay? Now, with that said, the next level of awareness is to begin to ask yourself, do I really know this process at a high level? I'm not talking about getting into the weeds, but at a high level, at a high level. So my friend Arif is on. Hope you're doing great. Thank you for joining. Arif is one of our students who has been following the journey, and I'm looking forward to him killing it. And he's been through this system. This is old news to Arif. I mean, he already knows this stuff. But he's here to continue learning. Next level of consciousness after what I just showed you, I would like you guys to begin to create, like I've said in the past, your PM stories. I want you to create PM stories, project management stories, or project manager stories, where you are in the center of a story regarding a process. For example, control quality. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to control quality? What was it to you? And what were the outputs that you can map back to the PMI's major outputs of control quality? What were you truly doing at that stage? And how were you doing it? How? It might be as simple, excuse me, it might be as simple as I was checking a build, some sort of build. So you used inspection. You can map that right back to one of those tools and techniques. You were using an inspection, and in addition to that, you were using a checklist. And the checklist pretty much told you what to look out for as you went through that vessel, be it a ship, be it a barge you're inspecting, be it software, a building, whatever it is. You're going to have an inspection, but at the same time, you're using your checklist as you carry out the inspection. You're also gathering data, so the tools and techniques that you're using in red could be your checklist, your check sheet. You could even be using a check sheet to input data regarding the inspection that you're carrying out. You see? And then the next thing you need to be thinking about is, okay, how did I know what to do? I had a plan. What kind of plan? Well, it was a plan for how to carry out quality related work. So it was really more in my project management plan. And inside that, I had something called a quality management plan. And also, as part of all of this stuff that I did in quality, in the very beginning, I had something called a quality metric. So quality metrics, which were the variables that I was going to be measuring right here, I had those as guidelines. Alright, so what happened as we began to inspect this vessel? Well, I began to realize that some of the dimensions were wrong. And as I was measuring, one of the outputs I got from this process was quality control measurements. So I got quality control measurements as one of the outputs of this process. Okay, what else did you get? Well, right off the bat I could tell that there needed to be some changes, so I had change requests from my inspection. As I began to put all this stuff into the tally sheet, my mind started going off like an alarm clock, knowing I need to make a change to this. I need to get this approved. So I put together some change requests. And in addition to that, there was a log of information, one of the deliverables that I had to take a look at. Oh, did you mention deliverables? Yeah, there was a deliverable. All right, well, that deliverable was actually an input to this process. So if there's a deliverable I was taking a look at, I need to put deliverables right here as one of the inputs to this process. So I had deliverables. Deliverables as an input. Well, you know, if you've got deliverables as an input, you know what you're going to have as an output if everything went well? Well, the documentation I was looking at, which was also one of the deliverables, I actually ended up approving lots of those pieces of documentation. And when I say documentation, I'm talking about how the vessel was meant to be run and other certain parameters. And other artifacts. So as one of the outputs, I ended up having something called a verified deliverable. And what that means is that particular deliverable was found to be fit for use. So it is possible for you to be in quality control and have various deliverables being inspected. Some of the deliverables might pass the test, some might not. It might be an iterative and incremental thing. So it's good to ask yourself, how many times did I do this? I did it all throughout the project. Part of going through this stuff also requires you understand where these things are going. Now, I'm only showing you the tip of the iceberg. This could be a much longer discussion. But the next thing you should ask yourself is, what happens to all of this information? The quality control measurements, what happens to them next? Well, the quality control measurements are going to make a journey, and they're going to go from here back to manage quality. Manage quality is a process that is going to take those quality control measurements, and that is now going to become an input to that process. What about my change requests? Well, my change requests, they're going to become an input to perform integrated change control. And my verified deliverable is going to become an input to validate scope. And from here, there's going to be a lot more interaction taking place. You see what I'm saying? So your perform integrated change control now becomes center of focus, and you know you're going to get approved change requests. You know you're also going to get project documents updates, and your change log is going to be one of the things that you get out subliminally, not explicitly. You also need to realize that you're using these change control tools of sorts to work the process, perform integrated change control. And then when it comes to these approved change requests, well, these are going to make a trip all the way back here. Your approved change requests are going to get put back into the very place where we started. So by the time you're done, folks, you're going to have a web of interactions. You see, from validate scope, you're going to end up having accepted deliverables. And those accepted deliverables, their journey is going to continue on to close project or phase. And from here, you're going to have your final product, service, or result transition as an output. So by the time you're done thinking out loud, and that's why I say get a whiteboard. Get a whiteboard so that you can chart the course and put all this information into it. This is a very rough, quick, and dirty example, but I'm counting on you to get your whiteboard, get your markers, get your pens, and go bonkers on this thing. Chart out the PMBOK guide. If you're not charting out the PMBOK guide, you're not doing it the right way, especially if you're a visual learner. I mean, these visuals are going to help you. They're going to help you put the big picture together. I have had lots of students who have gone to get a whiteboard. They say, Phil, I'm going to take you up on that challenge. They get their whiteboard, and in a few months I'm here and I kill the exam. I charted out the basic flows for all of these processes. And it's a delight to see them succeed, you know, because they followed through on what their buddy Phil told them. All right. Thank you, Pete. Pete, how you doing? I hope you're doing good, and I hope your studying is rocking and rolling, man. It's been a while. Remind me, Pete, are you in New Zealand, or are you in Australia, or are you in the US? Maybe I was hoodwinked by your exotic accent. Please remind me where you live. I cannot remember. Arif says, figure 8-2 on page 273. Can you explain why it mentioned project integration management, not direct and manage project work as the outputs are deliverables and WPD? So Reef, I'm going to have to open up that page. Bear with me. You might hear some tinkering in the background as I try to open that up. Page 280. You take a look at your chat again. Page 273. Let's see if this numbering thing works for the PDF version. I hope it does. Nope, it doesn't. Just so you know, if you've got the PMBOK Guide 6th edition PDF, the numbering in the PDF that has both the agile stuff and the actual PMBOK stuff, unfortunately the numbers don't align. So I'm going to have to search for that page 273. It's almost a project, Arif. Okay, here we go. Very good. So let me read your question one more time, Arif. So can you explain why it mentioned project integration management and not direct and manage project work as the outputs? Okay, so let me take a look at this. So what they do, this, okay. So let me help you out here, Reef. Let me do something for you on the screen here. So this is actually what the logic, this is what they're trying to say, okay? So from plan, quality management, right? Like I showed you in my previous thing, you get the quality management plan, QMP, and I'll move this around in a bit so you can see it. But you get QMP and you get quality metrics. Okay, so that's established, right? You understand that. So from plan quality management, we get our quality management plan and quality metrics. And then those two obviously become an input to manage quality. That's a given. You understand that, obviously. So manage quality is going to have those two things going into it. And let me just do a little bit of adjustment here. So these guys are going in here. And then we can see that from the process known as direct and manage project work, direct and manage project work. From there, we are going to get work performance data, WPD, and we're going to get deliverables. Good. Alright, so if we make it a bit smaller, you can see a little bit better now. Okay, and then we also have, oh, no, that doesn't go to manage quality, I beg your pardon. Let me get rid of that. I can see where your confusion is coming from now. Yes, so let me get rid of that arrow, and let me show this as going to control quality. Okay. I think that's really what they're trying to say, but it looks a little bit confusing. And then your test and evaluation documents and your quality report go in here. So you got your test and evaluation documents, and you have your quality report. Both of these come from control quality and go into manage quality. And then we also have quality reports being updated and sent out to other processes there. And we have oh dear, okay, I can see where your confusion is coming from, Arif. So a better way to have shown this would have been to show that quality control measurements also from here, quality control measurements also come out of control quality and go into manage quality. But when it comes to WPI, we need to be very careful so we don't confuse people. WPI is going to go out of there into the monitor and control project work process. And then your work performance report, WPR, is generated as a result of that. Then from control quality, I can make this a bit smaller. So you see how it's coming together. From control quality, we have verified deliverables. Verified deliverables. I should probably do that over here. Let's see, verified deliverables going into validate scope. And of course, quality templates and so on from OPAs are going into manage quality. That's a no-brainer. We already know that. We already know that's what OPAs do. OPAs, your templates and so on. So I think that's really what they meant to show you in figure 8-2, Arif. Does that answer your question? Is that pretty much what you were asking? Oops, made a little error there. Okay. So I think that's pretty much what they were trying to show you. And then you said also take a look at page 39. Page 39. Let me see what's there before we shut it down for the day. Page 39. Let's take a look. Page 39. Oh, page 39. Your OPAs, is that what you meant? Anyway, I hope this answers your question, but the main goal was to inspire you guys to begin these stories, to begin a deeper dive, to begin charting your PMBOK guide course a little bit more. All right? I hope that gave you some inspiration and ideas. Okay? Before I go, I want to show you one more idea. And I think you should all do this before your exam. Definitely do this before your exam. For each process, what is your major output? From develop project charter, your major output, the project charter, the assumption log. What are you getting out of that process? That is a very important question. Your next process, identify stakeholders. What are you getting out? Your stakeholder register. Ultimately, it is going to become part of project documents. What else? What do you have from develop project management plan? I get my project management plan. I want you to take it a step further. Then begin to ask yourself some of the notable inputs. Okay, outputs from other processes. Outputs from other processes is one of the things that I get from develop project management plan. Outputs from other processes is a bit of a unique one, so it's worth remembering. Going down the list, what do you get from plan scope management? What do you get from plan scope management? You get your scope management plan, you get your requirements management plan, and don't forget your project charter going in. All right, what comes next? What do you get from collect requirements? Big ticket items. I get my requirements traceability matrix, and I get requirements documentation. Big ticket items, folks. I'm not talking about everything under the sun. I'm not talking about the goofy PMP updates and the PD updates that you already know ad nauseum. You already know they're going to be lurking around waiting for you at the end of most processes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the big ticket items. Things that jump out at you, you know? After you collect requirements, what else? You define your scope. Define scope. What do you get from define scope? Well, from define scope, you get your project scope statement. What is in your project scope statement? Inclusions, exclusions, deliverable description, acceptance criteria. What comes after this? Create WBS. What do you get from here as an output? You get a collection of things mixed up into your scope baseline. So your scope baseline is the big output from there. You see where I'm going with this? This is what you need to do for every process. And as you keep doing this, the information is going to stick. Like right now, I'm just giving it to you like from my head. This is not from the PMBOK guide. And the aim is not to write down every single thing. I'm asking for the big ticket items from here. You see, you're going to get your activity list, your A list, your AA, your activity attributes, and you're going to get your milestone list. See? After you define activities, what do? You sequence them. What do you get from sequencing your activities? You get your project, schedule, network diagrams. Move to the next one. Estimate activity durations. What do you get from here? I get my duration estimates, and I probably get my BOEs. I think. And if you're not sure, open up the guide, take a look so that the information can solidify, and after you check, shut the book again, go off to the next one. Develop schedule. What do you get from develop schedule? Well, you get your schedule baseline for a start, and you also get your project schedule. And lurking around somewhere, I think, I have to take a look at that, but I think you have scheduled data as well. I think. I'm not sure if that's still in line with what's in my head, but once upon a time you would get your scheduled data from there. And then you move on to the next one. plan cost. What do you get from plan cost management? You get your cost management plan. So plan cost management, you get your cost management plan. And then you go on to estimate cost. What do you get from estimate cost? You get your cost estimates, and I believe you get your BOEs as well, your basis of estimate. That is the level, folks. If you look, let's redefine the namby-pamby brain dump that I did a few months ago, right? That's all well and good, but this, you need to amp it up. Okay, you can dump all the formulas and still fail the exam. You can write page 25 out and still fail the exam. But by the time you get to the point where you are dumping, and I'm not talking about going into the exam and doing this, I'm talking about doing this before you go in as practice, right? Get your breakfast in. This is your breakfast. By the time you do this again and again, you're going to max out what you know and create room for what you don't. You see? So from here, notable one is your cost baseline. You got your project funding requirements, so on and so forth. You know, that is the level. That is the level that I want you to get to. And now we're back to plan quality management. What do you get from plan quality management? You get your quality management plan. You get your quality metrics and all that stuff. What do you get from plan resource management? You get your resource management plan. What do you get from estimate activity resources? You get your resource requirements, and somewhere lurking around in my head is the RBS, the resource breakdown structure. So when you get to a place like this and you're like, I kind of don't know what goes in there for sure, take a look. Like right now, I'm actually curious to know, does the RBS still originate from this process? Hop over to the chapter, take a look, and the resource breakdown structure is item 3. Continue like that, folks. And I wish you all the best. I wish you happy studying, and I really hope you can put in the right effort and energy to kill it. Kill the exam. Kill it. Have no mercy. Take no prisoners. Hit it hard, and you'll be glad you did. All right? If you guys are looking for a superb curriculum to take you through the PMBOK guide very rapidly, similar to what I've shown you just now, I would advise that you go to Praizion.com and check out our curriculum. There are many ways to get to our courses. You can go to pmsucceed.com. That'll take you there. Or you can go to Leadership Avenue if you're looking for a manic 16-hour course that will take you through the treacherous terrain of the PMBOK guide in like 16 hours, but extremely rapid. It's manic. It's crazy. LeadershipAvenue.com will also take you to our 16-hour curriculum. Okay. So there's a boatload of content, folks, on these sites. And then, of course, the Praizion site, Praizion.com. Go to those sites. Take a look at the curriculum that's out there. We've currently made one of the courses have a steal for the day. And you can find that on Praizion.com. Typically $3.99. You can get it for $3.49. And they're all subscription based. We've got Understanding the Guide. We've got the Crazy 16-Hour Course. And there's a lot more that's coming out. And hey, if you haven't taken a look on the YouTube channel, there's all sorts of information out there coaching you for PMP exam success. Sometimes it's not the content that is the problem. Sometimes you just need to hear it like it is. You just need to be reminded about why you're grinding, why you're doing this thing, why you're hitting it hard, why you're waking up every day before everyone else is up and putting in 3 hours. You wake up at 4, read from 4 to 7, study, hitting it hard. You need to be reminded why you're doing it. You're doing this to make life better for you. You're doing this to feed the family, folks. You ain't going to go back to the family and say, I'm sorry, my paycheck is still what it was 5 years ago because I just can't get that job. That was the position I was in. I was grinding the best I could, but I wasn't grinding smart. Until I realized, hey, it's not enough to say, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, and that's the end. I'm not doing anything beyond a master's degree. Or I'm not doing anything beyond a GED. No, no, no. The next level is educating your mind. And in the industry that we live in, that we work in as project managers, let's get real. Let's get real. The PMP is the standard. It's the beginning. It's not even the pinnacle. It's the beginning. So you go for an interview and you've got someone who is as smart as you, as quick as you, plus the PMP. If that is the deciding factor, you will be kicked out of the equation, folks. And I know some people are like, well, I'm comfortable. I don't need to think about that. You'll be amazed. I had a student who was a VP of a particular company and felt very comfortable, didn't want to bother about taking the exam. 3 months later, acquisition, merger, job taken out from under her feet. He said, Phil, I need to do that PMP thing. Stuff changes, stuff happens, you know. I hope you are going to be in the job that you are, if you really want to be there, but if you want to expand, blow the lid off, add value to firms, hey, it's all about reproduction. The main goal behind all of this, outside of taking care of business, right? Being responsible, taking care of yourself or your family. The next level, folks, is taking care of your company, of your business. Your company employed you to add value. So if you can add value to them by replicating yourself, duplicating yourself, I mean, if you're an efficient PM and you can teach other people a method as to how to do it. Lots of great PMs out there, fantastic. But they cannot replicate themselves, and for that reason, they're not valuable. Why can't they replicate themselves? They don't have a deliberate, calculated method to explain the madness they control. So they end up leaving the firm and someone else is there. But this gives you a common lexicon, a common language. It gives you structure, order, and process to add value to your firm. I better get off this soapbox now. Thank you for joining me today, folks, and all the very best. I'll speak to you again very soon, God willing. Bye for now and have a wonderful rest of your day.